Welcome to Stairway to English. Today, we will explore a powerful question. Who are you, really? Through the wisdom of Friedrich Nietzsche, you'll learn how to discover your true self and create your own meaning in life, all while practicing English. Listen carefully, follow the subtitles, and repeat the sentences to train your brain to think in English. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's begin. Episode 1. The Call to Know Yourself. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, who am I, really? Most people never do. They wake up, go to work, follow the same path every day, and forget to question the person inside. Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most powerful philosophers in history, believed that finding your true self is the greatest challenge of life. He didn't want people to live like machines. He wanted them to become who they truly are, strong, independent, and honest with themselves. Nietzsche once said, "Become who you are." At first, this sounds simple, but it's not. Most of us wear masks, we act the way others expect, we follow rules without asking why. We choose what feels safe, not what feels true. Nietzsche believed this was the reason many people never find real happiness. They live for others, not for themselves. When Nietzsche looked at society, he saw people afraid to think differently. They were too scared to stand alone. He called this herd mentality, when everyone moves together, even if the direction is wrong. He believed real strength begins when you stop trying to fit in and start thinking for yourself. Imagine this. You are standing in a crowd. Everyone is walking toward a big door. They say it's the only way. But deep inside, you feel something different. You want to go another way, but you're afraid. What if you're wrong? What if they laugh at you? Nietzsche would say, go anyway. Walk your own path. Because only then you begin to see who you really are. Nietzsche's life was not easy. He lived much of it alone, in pain and often sick. But he used that pain to understand life. He said that suffering was not something to escape. It was a teacher. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, he wrote. For Nietzsche, pain was part of discovering the truth about yourself. Every challenge, every failure, every lonely night. They all shape your real identity. Think about your own life. How many times did you follow others because it felt easier? How many times did you silence your voice because you didn't want to disappoint anyone? Nietzsche invites you to do the opposite. He wants you to listen to that small voice inside, the one that whispers who you are, not who you should be. Knowing yourself means facing your shadows too. The parts you hide, the fears, the anger, the doubts. They are part of you. Nietzsche said that if you deny them, they grow stronger. But if you face them, they can guide you to wisdom. He believed that we all carry both light and darkness. The goal is not to destroy one, but to balance them, to live honestly. If you want to follow Nietzsche's path, start by asking, what do I truly value? Not what society says, not what friends expect, but what makes you feel alive? What gives you meaning? Maybe it's art, helping others, creating something new, or learning endlessly. Whatever it is, that's your first step toward becoming who you are. Nietzsche also warned against comfort. He said, The snake that cannot shed its skin must die. This means that if you stay the same forever, you stop growing. To live is to change, to let go of the old and step into the unknown. Each time you challenge yourself, you are shedding your old skin and becoming new again. So, today, take a quiet moment. Close your eyes and ask yourself, am I living as my true self or as the person others want me to be? Am I brave enough to walk my own path? Am I ready to face my pain and grow through it? Nietzsche's call is simple but powerful. Stop pretending, start becoming. You are not a copy. You are an original work of life, unique, deep, and strong. Your journey to find your true self begins when you decide to stop living a borrowed story. Episode 2. Face your inner conflict. Have you ever felt like two voices are fighting inside you? One voice says, be brave, follow your dream. The other says, don't risk it, stay safe. Nietzsche believed that this battle inside us is a natural part of being human. He said that if we want to grow, we must face these inner conflicts instead of running away from them. For Nietzsche, life was a struggle between what he called the higher self and the lower self. The higher self is the part of you that wants to create, explore, and become stronger. The lower self is the part that wants comfort, safety, and approval. Both exist inside everyone. The goal, Nietzsche said, is not to destroy one of them, but to understand and balance both. He wrote that every great person he admired, artists, thinkers, leaders, had learned how to face their inner battles. They didn't hide from fear, jealousy, or pain. Instead, they used those emotions as energy to create something new. Nietzsche believed that without conflict, there is no growth. A calm sea never made a skilled sailor. When we avoid our problems or hide from difficult emotions, they don't disappear. They grow silently. For example, if you always pretend to be happy when you're not, one day the sadness will return even stronger. Nietzsche said that people who never face their own darkness become prisoners of it. To be free, you must look directly into your fears and accept them as part of who you are. He used the story of a shadow to explain this. Imagine walking under a bright sun. You can see your shadow following you everywhere. You cannot escape it. The more you run, the longer it becomes. The only way to make peace with it is to turn around and face it. The same is true for your mind. Your shadow is your anger, fear, and weakness. Face it, and you will grow. Nietzsche didn't believe in perfection. He believed in transformation. He said that people become strong by overcoming their own limits. Each time you face something difficult, a heartbreak, a failure, a rejection, you have a chance to rise higher. Pain, he said, is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of wisdom. He also warned people not to hide behind excuses. Many say, I can't change. That's just who I am. But Nietzsche disagreed. He believed we are always becoming, always creating ourselves. You are not fixed like a stone. You are more like clay. You can shape and reshape who you are through your choices. Think about a time when you felt lost or weak. Maybe you failed at something important. Maybe you disappointed yourself. What did you do next? Did you give up or did you try again? Nietzsche would say that those moments define you more than your success. Because when life breaks you, you have two choices: to stay broken or to rebuild yourself stronger. He often wrote about something he called the will to power. It doesn't mean control over others. It means control over yourself, your emotions, your fears, your reactions. It's the inner strength that helps you rise after every fall. Nietzsche believed that this power lives inside everyone, waiting to be awakened by struggle. In modern life, people often hide behind distractions, phones, work, or entertainment to avoid facing their inner world. But Nietzsche would remind you, silence is your friend. Sit with your thoughts. Listen to them, even the uncomfortable ones. That's where true growth begins. When you face yourself, you start to understand what you really want and who you really are. Nietzsche also believed that your flaws can be your greatest teachers. Your jealousy can show you what you desire. Your fear can reveal what you care about most. Your sadness can lead you to compassion. Nothing inside you is useless if you learn from it. He said, one must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. This means that your confusion, your pain, your inner war, they can all create something beautiful. So the next time you feel an inner conflict, don't run away. Sit with it. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What is this emotion trying to teach me? When you stop hiding from your emotions, you begin to master them. You become stronger, calmer, and more real. Nietzsche believed that peace doesn't come from avoiding problems, but from walking through them. When you face your inner storms, you discover a deeper strength, the strength to keep moving forward, even when the world feels heavy. And maybe that's the secret. Life isn't about escaping pain. It's about transforming it into power. Every time you face your inner conflict, you grow closer to your true self, the person Nietzsche believed you were always meant to become. Episode 3. Create your own values. Friedrich Nietzsche believed that most people live by values that are not truly theirs. From a young age, we are told what is good, what is bad, what success means, and what failure means. Society, family, school, religion, they all give us rules to follow. But Nietzsche asked a brave question. What if those rules are not right for you? He believed that to find your true self, you must learn to create your own values. Nietzsche said that most people live as the herd. They follow the crowd because it feels safe. They do what others do and think what others think. But he believed that real freedom begins when you stop following blindly. He said the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. To him, being yourself was an act of courage. When you live by other people's values, your life starts to lose meaning. You work for goals that are not yours. You make choices to please others. Nietzsche believed that this kind of life leads to emptiness. He wanted people to become what he called the Übermensch, the overman, or in simple words, a higher version of themselves. The Übermensch doesn't accept values that are handed to him. He questions everything and decides what is truly worth believing. Imagine a person who always tries to please everyone. He works hard, never says no, and does what society expects. On the outside, he looks successful, but inside, he feels lost. Nietzsche would say that this person is not living his own life. He is living someone else's script. To escape that, you must write your own script, build your own meaning. Nietzsche didn't want people to rebel just for the sake of rebellion. He wanted them to think deeply. Ask yourself, why do I believe what I believe? Why do I want what I want? Maybe you value money, fame, or stability, but is that truly what your soul desires? Or have you been told that these things equal happiness? He believed that people must go through a personal transformation to create new values. He described this with the image of 3 transformations of the spirit: the camel, the lion, and the child. First, the camel carries heavy loads. It accepts all duties and traditions without question. It says yes to everything. Then comes the lion, who learns to say no. The lion breaks the old chains, rejects false values, and finds his own strength. Finally, the child arrives. The child is pure creation. It says yes to life again, but this time freely with its own heart. This was Nietzsche's idea of growth. You start by following others, then you fight against them, and finally you create your own way. It's not easy. It takes courage to break away from the crowd, to stand alone. But he believed that only through this struggle can you truly become yourself. Think about it. How many of your choices are truly yours? The career you dream of, the people you admire, the things you buy, are they part of your true self? Or are they just part of a system that tells you what to want? Nietzsche invites you to be honest with yourself. He would say, don't just live consciously. He also warned that when you break free, people may not understand you. They may call you strange, arrogant, or even selfish. But Nietzsche said that being misunderstood is the price of being original. Every great creator, from artists to inventors, once stood alone. The world changes because of those who dare to think differently. Nietzsche's own life was proof of this. He lived simply, often sick and poor, but he never gave up his ideas. He refused to accept the popular beliefs of his time. He created his own philosophy, one that celebrated strength, courage, and individuality. He said, "Become who you are." To him, this was not just advice, it was a mission. Creating your own values doesn't mean ignoring kindness or respect. It means finding your own reasons for them. It's about living with purpose, not pressure. Maybe for you, value means helping others. Maybe it means creating art or discovering truth or building something meaningful. Whatever it is, it must come from you. Nietzsche would say that every person has the power to be their own artist, not of painting or music, but of life itself. Your actions, your choices, your beliefs, they are your artwork. The question is, are you painting your own picture or are you coloring someone else's? When you start creating your own values, you stop needing constant approval. You stop comparing yourself to others. You find peace in your own path. And even if that path is difficult, it feels alive. Nietzsche believed that a meaningful struggle is better than an empty comfort. So take a moment to ask yourself, what do I truly value? Is it freedom? Truth? Love? Growth? Choose your own answers. Shape your own world. Because in the end, Nietzsche reminds us, the meaning of life is not something you find, it's something you create. Episode 4. Turn pain into power. Friedrich Nietzsche lived a life full of pain. He suffered from terrible headaches, weak eyesight, and loneliness. He was often sick and could not work for long hours. Many people rejected his ideas, and he spent most of his life misunderstood. Yet, despite all this, Nietzsche wrote some of the most powerful words in philosophy. How? Because he learned to transform pain into power. Nietzsche once said, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." These words are famous today, but their meaning is deeper than many people realize. He did not mean that pain is good by itself. He meant that when you face pain with courage, it can become your teacher. Every difficulty can build your strength if you choose to learn from it. Most people try to avoid pain. We escape, distract ourselves, or pretend everything is fine. But Nietzsche believed that growth happens only when you face suffering directly. He said that life without struggle becomes empty and weak. He wrote, "To live is to suffer, to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering." He believed that pain is not the enemy. The real enemy is giving up. When life becomes hard, you can either fall or rise. You can let pain destroy you, or you can use it to rise higher. Nietzsche's own life was proof. He lost friends, health, and recognition. Yet his ideas survived and inspired millions. He turned his suffering into strength. Imagine someone who fails again and again. Each failure hurts. But if that person reflects, learns, and tries again, every failure becomes a lesson. Slowly, pain changes shape. It becomes wisdom. That is what Nietzsche meant by turning pain into power. Pain can shape your soul like fire shapes metal. He used a powerful image. One must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. Chaos means confusion, pain, and darkness, the moments when life feels broken. But from that chaos, something beautiful can be born. A dancing star is your strength, creativity, or wisdom, something that shines because of what you went through. Think about your own life. Maybe you faced rejection, loss, or deep disappointment. Those moments hurt, but they also reveal what truly matters to you. Pain strips away illusions. It shows you who you are. Nietzsche believed that only through suffering can a person discover their true power. He said, "The higher we soar, the smaller we appear to those who cannot fly." In other words, when you rise after pain, people might not understand your strength, but that's okay. You rise for yourself. Nietzsche also warned against living a comfortable, easy life. He said that comfort can make the spirit weak. When everything is easy, you stop growing. That's why he admired people who faced life's difficulties bravely. To him, every great person had one thing in common. They suffered deeply and turned that suffering into creation. He believed that pain helps you build your inner world, your character, your will, your purpose. Without challenge, your soul stays asleep. But when you face pain and survive, you wake up. You realize how strong you can be. That is when true life begins. Let's look at an example. Imagine a person who loses everything: their job, their confidence, their hope. For a while, they feel broken, but slowly they start to rebuild. They learn patience, discipline, and courage. The pain they felt becomes the fuel that pushes them forward. When they succeed again, they are not the same person. They are stronger, deeper, and more alive. That is Nietzsche's lesson in action. Nietzsche's own story ended in tragedy. His health broke down completely, and he spent his last years unable to write or speak. But his words kept living because they were born from fire. He had faced pain and turned it into philosophy, into wisdom that still inspires people more than a century later. He showed that even when the body fails, the spirit can rise. Pain cannot destroy a soul that knows how to turn it into power. So, how can you do this in your own life? When something painful happens, don't run away. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger or wiser? Then use that lesson. Let it shape your mind, your habits, your heart. Every challenge can become a step upward. Nietzsche wanted people to stop being victims of life. He wanted them to become creators of their own strength. He believed that pain was not a curse, but a path to the highest version of yourself. He said, "You must carry a chaos inside you to give birth to a dancing star." So don't fear chaos. Don't fear pain. Welcome it, face it, and transform it. Because through that fire, you become who you truly are. Episode 5. The Art of Becoming. Live as a Creator. Friedrich Nietzsche believed that the purpose of life is not to be comfortable, safe, or accepted. He believed that the purpose of life is to become, to keep growing, creating, and transforming. For Nietzsche, the greatest question was not what is the meaning of life, but how can I give meaning to my life? He taught that every human being has the power to create themselves. You are not just a product of your past, your culture, or your pain. You are an artist of your own existence. Every decision, every challenge, every dream is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. This, Nietzsche called the art of becoming. He used a powerful idea, the Übermensch, or overman. It does not mean someone who dominates others, but someone who has learned to rise above their own limits. It is the person who creates their own values and does not live by the rules of the crowd. Nietzsche said that society often tells you what to think, how to live, and what success means. But if you follow the crowd, you lose yourself. To become who you truly are, you must stop copying others and start creating your own path. Nietzsche wrote, "Become who you are." It sounds simple, but it is a lifelong journey. To become who you are means to discover your deepest nature and then live in harmony with it. It means breaking free from fear, guilt, and the need for approval. It means asking, what do I truly want? What do I truly believe? And then living that truth, even if it is hard. In Nietzsche's view, life is like climbing a mountain. Every step is difficult, and sometimes you fall. But each time you rise again, you grow stronger and see farther. There is no final point, no easy ending. The joy is in the journey, in the act of becoming. That is what he called amor fati, or love of fate. It means loving life not only when it is easy, but also when it is painful, because everything, good or bad, helps you become more yourself. He said, one must give value to one's existence by behaving as if one's very existence were a work of art. Imagine your life as a piece of art. Every mistake, every success, every pain becomes part of your masterpiece. You cannot erase the past, but you can shape its meaning. You can take what was dark and turn it into light. You can take weakness and turn it into strength. You are both the artist and the art. Nietzsche also believed that true happiness comes not from pleasure, but from purpose. He saw too many people living like machines, working, obeying, consuming, and forgetting to think. He wanted people to wake up. He said that when you stop asking, "What do others want from me?" and start asking, "What do I want from life?" that is when real freedom begins. To live as a creator means to take responsibility for your life. It means not blaming others, not waiting for miracles, not escaping into comfort. It means saying, "I will shape my destiny. I will turn pain into strength. I will live with courage and create something that reflects my soul." But Nietzsche did not mean you must become perfect. In fact, he believed that imperfection is part of beauty. He said that we should not hate our flaws because they make us unique. The goal is not to remove all weakness, but to use it, to transform it into wisdom. Like a sculptor who shapes rough stone into a statue, you shape your rough edges into something meaningful. Think of yourself as a creator every day. When you face problems, see them as raw material for your growth. When you fail, see it as part of your story. When you succeed, be grateful, but keep growing. Nietzsche's message was clear. Never stop becoming. Life is a process, not a destination. He believed that the most powerful person is not the one who controls others, but the one who controls themselves. The one who knows their values, follows their purpose, and lives with authenticity. Such a person shines from within. They no longer ask for meaning, they give meaning. At the end of his life, Nietzsche was physically broken, but his ideas were more alive than ever. He showed that even when the world misunderstands you, you can still create beauty, truth, and strength from within. His entire philosophy can be summarized in one line: become who you are. So, ask yourself, who are you becoming? Are you living as a creator or as a follower? Every choice shapes the answer. The power is in you, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. The art of becoming never ends. Keep learning, keep creating, keep becoming. That is Nietzsche's final message. Don't just exist, create yourself.